So it's currently Monday evening. I said before in the last video that this has to be done for Tuesday morning, 8 AM. So it is just gone 5, I've just finished work. But I was working at home today. I could have skived off, but I had loads on. So, I mean, no, I could not have skived off. So I've got to get this done. So you guys can watch for a little bit. So it started off with the best of intentions, like I was tidying up as I was going along, but I've been doing it now for 50 minutes, which doesn't sound like an awful lot, but bear in mind, this has to be done tonight. So it's about 6 o'clock now. And so I've just started tearing the stuff off the wall, just literally just grabbing it and pulling it off. And it's all landing at my feet. I don't know if you can see it. Let's have a look. Oh! No, I don't think you can. There you go. The actual mess that I'm making. I've just got to get it done. So all I have to do is take off this one side of the wall. It's not too much. And then I think I'll go around and just pull out these nails. They're not very difficult to do. They're pretty short things. But I've got to do all the way up to the ceiling, get that coving off as well. And to there. But all that coving has to come off because we're going to board the ceiling. Then I need to get my laser sight out, peel up the carpet on this side, and then sort of just draw, get the laser up and down thing. What's it called? A laser plumb. It's basically a plumb line, but a laser. So it'll draw a dot exactly below. So it means when they put the boards in, I know exactly where to drill the hole. Not quite sure what to do about... There we go. Not quite sure what to do with the smoke alarm. Might have to take that out. I'm not sure. We'll see. Might just have to unwire it and put like a Wago clip on the cables or something. I don't know. Anyway, right, I've got to get back to this. I'll leave you on, but if the battery runs out, I'm not going to charge it up because I don't have time. Time for a short break, I think. Just like 5 minutes. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll go and publish that video I made yesterday. That's it, done. Finished. Sort of. Okay, that's a slight lie. Let's have a look. Oh, a crowbar in the lens there. So I've got everything off. All the bits that I said I'd do, all the way over to above the door and to the floor. There's still a bit of tidying up to do. This will be the 4th round of tidying up I've done. What I'm doing right now, and the battery did run out on this thing, so I just put it away. But now I'm taking out all of these little nails one by one. I did think about just banging them in, but because lath and plaster walls are a little bit fragile, I don't want to go best tool ever, by the way. I don't want to go damaging the other side of the wall until I absolutely have to. But I might not need to. It would be brilliant if we could get away without plastering that side. Anyway, as you can see, there are quite a few nails to take out. But I'm halfway there, so really, this won't take too much longer. All I need to do then is tidy up and move some stuff downstairs. Then I can have a beer. Wouldn't that be good? Is that all I have to do? Fuck. I think so. I can't think of anything else. I'll move some stuff out of the living room. I've been keeping some tools in there. Because the guy that's coming to sand the floor is coming tomorrow morning at I think he said 7:30. If he turns up at 7:30, he's not getting in the house. I'll be asleep. So it's 10 to 9 and I've just finished everything that I need to do. My hands are wrecked. My phone no longer recognises my fingerprints, which is a bit frustrating. I've done everything. This is all done. I don't know if I just showed you this. I don't know. Sort of going a bit potty now. So all of that's sorted. I did a bit of tidying up. There's still a bit of a mess, but I've dropped the mains. What the hell are they? You can tell that I'm tired. The mains fire alarm. The mains fire alarm. I've got a battery one upstairs, so it's not the end of the world. It's not a problem. I've got another one. It's okay. Just not in that exact spot. But now I need to sort these lights out. So I've got my little Hupar thing. I think that's what it's called. Let's have a little look. Hupar. It's the cheapest one of these I could find. So it's a laser level. It's got this auto leveling thing. If I give it a wobble. So it's on some kind of a gyro. And what I'm using it for, I'll let it settle, is the little dot that's up there. Let me turn the light off. So that little dot I need to make line up with the light that's in the ceiling, because they're going to board over the top of this. So I need to know where to drill. So that's what I'm doing now. So you can watch me do it if you want. Oh, and to record that measurement, I'm just drawing with a permanent marker on the floorboard right underneath it. Because this, so it's a plumb laser line, right? So it's got all the way to the top thing. And under its bum, it's got one that points right straight down. So you know what is directly the top laser line. So I'll put you there. I don't know how interesting this is going to be. Probably not very. I should probably find a pen as well. Which I can't get to with that radiator in the way. I'm going to have to move you. In fact, screw it. It's too dark to show you this anyway. Don't even know if you can see my face right now. What's coming up next? I'll show you the plastering as it's being sort of sorted out, and the floorboard's starting tomorrow. So can you believe I haven't had a beer yet? It's disgusting. Floorboard's starting tomorrow. That's going to look amazing. And then might be doing a bit of painting. Not sure. All right. Night. Morning. It is about 7:45. I've just sort of got up. Might have had a few too many beers last night in celebration of all the work that I've done. But God, I kind of regret it now, honestly. But the plasterer and the flooring people should be turning up. And then the fun begins. Although I don't actually have to do much. The only thing I have to do is figure out... Oh yeah, I've taken out the lights in here, I forgot. Is figure out what we're doing with these electrics. Whether I'm going to go back to the tails, I guess. I don't know what you'd call them. Go back to the tails so that they can plaster, and then I'll put these sockets back on like a second fix, I guess. I don't know. And then they're going to get that chimney breast done, and then this room will be finished. Yeah, kind of regretting. I think I had 6 beers last night. Kind of regretting that. I've had to leave the windows open in here to let some of the moisture out when the plaster's drying. Maybe I should have done this after I'd properly woken up. Anyway, there'll be more in a bit. So time for a little walk around so you can see what's happened today. So that bit of crappy stud work that I did, plasterer said, that's fine, I'll make it look good. And he has. Look at that. It's nicely blended in. That's obviously not dry. You can see it's already starting to dry though. So when that's dry, you won't be able to tell a difference. You'll just think it was always like that. He's put a nice bit of sort of metal stuff across here. Oh, I can show you what that looks like, because they've left all their rubbish here. But it's this stuff. And that's sort of, this is too wide for here, but that sits on the edge. So you can see where there's a little lip. That's how thick the plaster is on there. So it makes a nice clean line. So that's been done today, which is good. Here is the darkest bit, but it is about 5 o'clock, so it's starting to get dark. And we had some rain for the first time in ages. So they've boarded these ceilings. You can already see it starting to dry, which is good. I've got to find a solution for that. I think I might put a little bit of trunking up there to hide those wires. They don't half leave a mess though. Look at this window. So this room was done yesterday. You've already seen it, but they've done the chimney breast now, so that'll be nice and smooth, ready for painting. But one of the most, look, I told you about all the mess they leave. They're lovely guys though. Good old Lee, the plasterer. He borrowed my ladder so he could get up there, because plastering above these stairs, not the easiest thing. More mess everywhere. And he has tried to fix, that bit of stuff. I'm going to call it cornicing. I don't really know what it is. And I think he's going to make that look prettier. But this sort of pole is currently holding up all of that plaster. So it doesn't look perfect, but he's assured me he'll be able to blend it in a bit. He doesn't need to assure me of anything because it was my fault. So here's the floor. Sanding started today. So I'm really impressed with it. It's going to look so much better. Look at this beast of a machine. In fact, let's close the windows again. That beast of a machine. This is the belt that it uses. Absolutely massive. It must be on some kind of... Oh no, it's just a normal plug. Oh, I think I need to put the screw back in there properly. Look at the size of the grit that he has on this as well. This is it 16 grit? I'm like 120 grit sandpaper is what I normally go for. Look at all of this resin that's come out of the pine. So he's got all these things that he uses, all these bits of wood, these thin slithers to pop in between floorboards. So he's done the first coat sanding, and he's going to get some fixes for these bits, I think. There are various holes and stuff that he's going to sort out. I think some of those holes is where he's pushed in some of the stuff. Oh look, there's a little hole there which is, that's the cellar. Realised I've left the light on down there. So he says that while I can walk on this today, I can't walk on it tomorrow, and I won't be able to put anything on it at all until Sunday. So, with that in mind, I need to get this room plastered. Put some boards up today, so just some plasterboard, dot and dabbed. Doesn't need to be fancy. There's too much stuff in here, so this is a bit of a problem for me at the moment. This chimney breast is going to get boarded on the outside and on the inside. If I choose to use it as a real fire later, like a log burner thing, then I'll have to take out that boarding. And then at the weekend, no, tomorrow. Oh, do I have to do that tomorrow? I have to do that tomorrow. He's going to come and do this room. Actually, my timescales are off here, so I need to take all the wallpaper off that and those last shelves out. Oh, I hate realizing things while I'm filming stuff. Anyway, that's the progress for today. It's pretty good. I now realize that I'm behind schedule. So day 2, and this is what the flooring looks like now. You can see most of the edging has been done in all the obvious sections, right down to the skirting. And I'll be putting that, buying some more beading and putting that down there so you won't see that join. Really like lovely attention to detail in places as well. Do you remember there was a floorboard that was loose here? Well, the reason it was loose is because, and I think it's the electricians, they'd cut this board along here in order to gain access to go underneath, and they'd not cut it at the joist, so when that was just sort of flapping around, so a bit of a pain in the ass that, and it meant there was a really large gap as well between the floorboards. And you can see here he's fixed that. He's also fixed this, and you see these little holes here. Well, what he's done is put some really thick ply down the side of the joist and screwed these boards into it, so that supports the wood. And he's countersunk those and filled them, and that will get stained over the top. So he's got a whole day of doing it tomorrow. Now I'm at work at 7 in the morning tomorrow, and I think I'm working till 7, so I'm not going to be here when he's here finishing this floor, so I have no idea what it's going to look like. I don't know what kind of colour it will go. I'm excited though, it's going to be good. So, but I won't be able to walk on it for a while, so the treatment he's going to put on Junkers, I think it was called. Junkers, maybe, I can't remember, something he told me. Didn't pay attention. I won't be able to walk on it until Sunday, I think. Well, I could walk on it before, but I definitely can't put any furniture in until Sunday. So I'm just going to have the door closed and leave it like that and just won't even look at it. And what I have to do now is, because my plasterer is coming on Friday, I've got to move all of this gear, out of this room. What I had hoped to do was to put the sofas and stuff into the living room, but I can't do that because we can't put anything on the floor. So I'm just going to have to find somewhere for all of this stuff to go now. Like right now, I've got to find somewhere for this to go, because tomorrow night, after my lovely 12-hour shift, I'm going to have to come home, take the rest of those shelving things out, unless I get some time tonight to do it. And done. I put in a little emergency call to Matt, and he came over and helped me carry some stuff. It does mean now, though, my kitchen is just full of furniture and boxes piled high. I still haven't got electric lights in, well, I haven't got any gas lights in here, but I still haven't got lights in the kitchen. And now it's just floor to ceiling stuff. And I've also put some things, in here. My TV. I don't know if I'm ever going to get this TV out again. I haven't used it since I've moved in, so maybe I don't need a TV. Yeah, so, oh yeah, we were going to talk about this when I moved all the stuff out. So, chimney breast, I'm keeping it open, but I'm going to board the inside. So, it's currently quite like disgusting because it used to be a working fire, right? So, this is where the fire seat bit, which would have been there, that's where it would have ended and flames would have been licking up to that bit. And so that's all charred. I don't know what original fire was here before, because when I came in, that was like a horrid tiled fireplace. Not nice tiled iron thing, like a big concrete surround with tiles on. So yeah, boarding on the outside, boarding on the sides, and boarding on the inside, but it will leave a nice open thing, and I'll be able to put like skirting on the inside to hide where it meets the floor. Now the tiles, or rather whatever these are, not brilliant. These are kind of a bit scratched in that, but a few are actually broken. I think I'll take that and put it away, because then maybe I can fix that later. Just pop it up there with the wires ready for the kitchen getting done whenever I can afford that. And I might put something down for when they do the plastering. I've left loads of their crap. So this has been boarded now. So this wall here, you know how I said I was worried about the wires? Well, all covered up now. And actually, I was really afraid of this gap becoming a lot smaller with the board, but it really is no smaller than when the plaster was on the wall. Maybe a touch, but certainly not a lot. It was basically the same distance as this one. How many? Oh, I can barely fit 4 fingers in, so let's try it over there. What are you saying, David? Okay, so I've maybe lost a little bit. It was about that much, but that's fine. I'm all right with it. There's enough space for the radiator pipes. Might need to just make sure they stay covered. I covered them up because the plasterers drip stuff all over the place. So now I could attempt this. What time is it? It's 7:30, and I've got to be at work for 7. So I'm probably not going to do anything. And instead I'll do it when I get home tomorrow. Oh. And then I'm starting again at 7 the next day. So I'll just have to put the effort in. I've done a little bit. But it is just those one shelf. And then I think there's a bit of wood at the top that needs to come out. Side bits, knocking this plaster off and taking this wallpaper off. I'll call the plasterer tomorrow and find out if he wants me to knock this plaster off, which I can do. Turns out I enjoyed that. It was hard work, but I'll do it. That's all it is. Right, on to the next day. So it is 9 o'clock in the evening. I've had a very long day. Started work at around 7ish. I think I was late. And finished about 7, or left about 7, and got home, I don't know, probably about 7:30. And I might have fallen asleep for a very short period of time when I sat down for a bit, just to relax for 5 minutes. And now it's suddenly 9 o'clock. But this is the big problem. I say big problem. I've tackled rooms full of this stuff, like multiple times. But it's essentially layers and layers of wallpaper that I need to take off. Some of it easy to get off, some of it not so easy. So some of it top layers peeling off, but others not quite so much. There are bits here where we've got this polystyrene insulation paper, familiar from other parts of the house. Well, this stuff is like a dream to take off, so that's all right. But it's these bits which are going to be a pain. And here, some secret hiding wallpaper that I didn't see previously or didn't notice. Now, I think the largest problem in here, and I've already started doing this, so we're up on the ladder at the moment. I woke up and sort of like rushed around and started ripping bits out and tearing off wallpaper and knocking down a bit of this plaster that's sort of lurking here, that is just super weak and needs to come off, really. Anyway, that's not what I'm up here to show you. we're at the top of the ladder to show you this. So this is the top of the cupboard, and there's a big old bit of bloody wood here. But not only is it not just a big old bit of wood, it's actually really thick. Oh, let me grab my phone torch and then maybe we can shine it up there and see what we can see. Okay, so what I'm looking at is the floor above, and that is nailed to the joist. That could come out. All right, I'm taking it out. There's just going to be a hole in the board. Right, I'm going to pop this camera down somewhere. So I'll show you this bit. What I've decided I'm going to do is have this wooden bar, out. It actually isn't that thick, and I think all it does is hold into the beams. So I can take it out, but I've got to dig these nails out. So there are 3, because we've got 3 beams running along here. If I have that out, it'll make it much easier to stick a little board in, drill it into those beams, and then blend it in with the ceiling a little bit, hopefully. Because I don't want to spend a lot of money, because honestly, I'm scared. But digging these out. So right now I'm just using my little like Stanley knife type deal, and I'm sort of just cutting away. I kind of need to not be holding the camera to do this, but I'm slicing away to get just a bit more space around it. I can't really think of another way of doing this. I don't have a chisel. If I had a chisel, that would make it so much easier. I thought about buying one the other day, but didn't. Anyway, that's the plan. And hopefully it works. You guys are just sat on top of a door, by the way.
Well.
That's it. We cracked it. It took longer than I expected, but what, 20 minutes? Not too long. Oh, you just got a perfect view of the crowbar there. Right, it's on its way out. So, interesting ceiling choice here. It seems to have been boarded or something similar. So this up here is my bedroom. There's a wire here. I don't know what that's doing. There's not really enough light in there to see, but it is finally coming away from the beam that's just there, which you also can't really see. Oh, you can, just there. So all I'm going to do is lever off. So if I just pop that in there, and actually, sorry, this is a bad idea because I'm not even holding on to the ladder. I'm holding a camera and a crowbar. So I'll put you back up here, but I'm pleased that it might be close. And then I can take off the wallpaper. I know I should be wearing a mask and probably some goggles, but I'm so done with today that I can't be bothered with any of that stuff. just finished. It is now, oh God, 11:30. And this is what it looks like. Oh wait, I'm not done. So I'm just taking these yellow protectors off the sockets. Now, they're kind of interesting. I like the idea of them, but it's not getting a good finish with the plastering. So my plasterer said he'd never heard of them. So they're coming off. I've used them elsewhere and they've been okay, but he'd prefer not to have them on, and that's fine by me. I'll just take them off. So wallpaper's off, ceiling's done, and I'm so immensely done with this. I'm filthy. Like, it's like I've got a tan of dirt. My face is probably filthy. I feel disgusting. I'm going to go to have a shower and then go to bed, I think. So next will be showing off the front living room, I guess, which I can go in a couple of days. Well, it just says don't go in today, really, but a couple of days I could do, just to be on the safe side. This room will get plastered. I don't know, I'm just too tired. We'll talk later. Before I go to bed, or to have a shower first. I've just sort of taped up my plug sockets using cling film. So just to keep, it's not going to keep the water out. I mean, they've tripped the circuits quite a few times, but it will keep the plaster from being on the sockets. In quite a few rooms, I had to spend ages cleaning like splashes of plaster off these sockets. So I've just gone around and done it with all of them. So just put a bit of tape around to keep it from falling off. It's fairly close. So this one, I'll try and get out of the way. I've just stuffed it in the back there. So they're going to just go up to that. It'll be fine, I think. We'll see. Right, that is truly it. I'm going for a shower now. So it's Sunday. This is the day that I'm allowed to put things in this room. I'm not going to today, but I thought we'd go in and have a little look at the floor. I am allowed to walk on it. I'm like really nervous about doing it. Oh, it looks brilliant. Look at that. That looks so much, how echoey is it in here? It looks so much better than it did before. Oh, and he masking taped off this section here. Oh, it looks so good. Next step is to sort this out, not me. Sort this fire out. But that will happen after I found a fire to replace it. Brilliant. I love it. I can't wait to get some stuff in here because the kitchen is currently full of living room stuff. So what I'm doing, I don't know if you can see me on. You can see me, good. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this old chisel. I literally went and bought this chisel as old. I went into my local hardware shop and I said, hello, I need a chisel, but a blunt one. What can you give me? And he said, well, there isn't really anything. You basically need an old chisel. So he went out the back and found this, which he'd bought some tools off like a builder's estate who died. So he said, just put a couple of pounds in a charity box and it's yours. So I did. So I've got this old chisel. I'll show you actually. And you'll see like skirting and stuff here. I mean, there's a gap there, it's fine. I'm going to put some sort of decorator's caulk in there and it'll be sort of flexible. But I'm just going along and scraping the top of that skirting just to get the remnants of this plaster off. Now the reason that's there, at the time I just could not face taking off the skirting. I just sort of had I was a bit overwhelmed. So I just decided not to take off the skirting and I'll paint it and make it look nice. But it would be better than me having an absolute meltdown. So I'm going around just scraping the skirting with the back of this. And then I'm going to start painting. I'm going to put the sort of like a mist coat on, but I bought some paint which is called paint for new plaster or something. It's easier than doing a mist coat, because a mist coat you basically put, I don't know, is it like 30% water in something like that? Might be 10%, I can't remember. Because this new plaster is going to soak up so much water that basically you just need to put a thin coat on first to seal it, and then you can paint over the top. But I bought this paint, it was like 20 quid for 10 litres, so it should cover most of this room, and maybe the hallway as well. I'm hot. It's still hot. Anyway, I'll put you back. There you go, this is the paint that I'm using. So it is Wickes Trade New Plaster Paint, matte, pure brilliant white. Now it's quite good at covering this stuff. Once it dries pretty sort of opaque. I haven't needed to did I do 2 coats last time? I can't remember. Anyway, edging first is sort of like a smart thing to do. Come and do all your edging bits first. This stuff you can just slap it on, you don't need to be neat and tidy. So I'll do all the edging, that's the corners, it's above the skirting, and it's the ceiling too. I'm gonna paint the ceiling in it too, so I do need to do a little bit of sanding actually. Maybe I should do that first. Nah. So go around the fireplace, I'll be careful with the fireplace, but this will be getting repainted. Hopefully I can just clean up the iron part of the fire. We'll see. Well, that's most of the edging done. Not most, all of the edging done actually. So now it's time to get the roller out. I think it's about, let's see. It's 6 o'clock. So I'll do another hour and a half, which should be enough to cover the walls in here. Not sure if I'll do the ceiling. But I wanted to show you something. So this is the tray I'm going to be using. It's filthy, I've already got a bit of paint on it, which is very annoying. I might wipe it off. But Wickes, where I bought this stuff from, they do tray liners, right? So this is quite a thin, sorry for the noise, a thin flexible bit of plastic that slots in the tray. Put your paint on there so that you take the tray liner out and bin it. Right, I know that isn't super environmentally friendly and whatnot, but I don't care. I don't care, because how often do I paint my house? It will probably, I'm just not going to go to the bother again. So really, it's not a lot of plastic to throw away. I think I get through more of this kind of plastic with food packaging and anything else, so I don't care. Also, I'm not cleaning these rollers. They're going in the bin. I'm not going to paint for like another 5 years probably. So if I were to clean this, put it away, I'm not going to use them in 5 years, am I? I will get some new ones. So they're just going to go in the bin. Just, that's horrible things to say, isn't it? Anyway, tray liners. They're like 5 for £3. So I bought 15 tray liners, which should cover me for every room in this house, every like layer of paint. It just means I don't have to clean this, which is a ball ache. Once you're done at the end of the day, when you've finished painting, I'm going to be finished about 7:30 today. Having like worked since about 10 this morning, I got up late. Pottering around the house doing stuff. Pottering makes it sound like I wasn't putting any effort in. Honestly, I have been. Before I finish the painting, I'll just show you downstairs. I've ripped up some carpet to reveal the old floor, and I'm just sort of taking some of the tiles out that are broken, and I'm going to look for some new ones, but I'll show you that. Anyway, at the end of the day, I don't want to be cleaning this, standing at the sink, cleaning this bloody thing for like half an hour. No. Anyway. I'm going to drip this everywhere, but I don't care. If you're going to be mixing paint, get one of these and stick it on your drill. It makes it so much easier. I used to do it with like just a stick. Terrible. Took ages. This is brilliant. Keep a bucket of water nearby. You can just plunge it in afterwards. Give it a quick whiz round. It mostly cleans it so that you can use it on the next job. And don't be tempted. I've done it loads. To spin it too fast when you get it out. Just give it a little whiz round. Hopefully your drill has a speed control. That's it. And then put it in your bucket. I've got a paintbrush in here I need to get out. Mix it around in the water a bit. It'll get most of it off. And then you can just leave it. Perfect. I'm not an expert on painting or anything, but get a bloody pole. Get an extension pole, otherwise you're going to be up and down a ladder for doing this stuff. And you can do all the low bits and the high bits and in the between bits, so just get an extension, it makes it so much easier. They cost like 10 quid, maybe. I bought this one years ago and it's been used ever since. Also, you'll notice I'm going over the same section. I'm waiting for this roller to saturate a bit, so I'm putting paint in, and letting it soak in and taking off the excess. So as soon as it's saturated, you'll see that looks a lot better. Once it's fully soaked up all the paint and stuff. And then when I'm rolling it in the thing, it works better. I think that's right. I don't know for sure. Come with me. Oh, there we go. Right. So it's done. It'll look a bit shady in places. Shady? Crap is what I mean. 15 minutes to spare. So it's 7:15 now. You'll see here, let me just turn you around. It looks a bit patchy. There's bits where it's not got good coverage, but that was exactly what the edging was like. And you can see that looks mostly solid. All right, tomorrow we'll have another look at this and you'll be surprised about how different it looks once the plaster's done all its sucking up of the moisture. And then I'll also show you the tiled Victorian floor that I have fully uncovered now. There we go, it's the next day and you'll see that it does look better than it did before. It still needs another coat of paint, but I'm going for this stuff that's on the floor here. This is called Dulux Super Matte. So it should look a lot nicer. You can see, I mean, just even these sections here, you can see where the paint's actually evened out a lot more than it was, or a lot more than it looked before. This morning I did a coat on the ceiling. I'm using a different kind of paint. It's called Dulux White Mist. So it will be subtly different. I'll get some coving to go all around the room. But I'll wait till the room's been split in two before I put coving up. And that'll just mean that I don't have to be that neat in the border there. You can see where there's sort of little holes and stuff. That's fine. It's just going to get covered up with the coving. So it does make the fireplace stand out a little bit. So that's going to have to be painted. So I'll get the old Victorian white on that and clean it up a little bit, do some sanding first. But then I need to do the skirting. So I've got to get the carpet out. Once I finish painting, I'll take it all out and we'll do a little bit of urban archaeology in here, because I know for a fact that underneath all this are newspapers back from when the carpet was installed, and I think it's the 70s. So we'll have a look at a few of the front pages or news stories that we find under here. This is what I wanted to show you. It is the original tiled floor. I really like it. I've taken up all the carpet, just have a little look at the condition of it. It's in okay condition. It definitely needs some work. So it's a bit echoey in here now, taking the carpet out. So Victorian tiled floors like this one. This is a fairly late one, I think. Well, it would be because the age of the property. See if I can pull up one of these tiles. There we go. So that says ECS maybe? I can't really read that. But these tiles would have been much larger, and then they would have been cut down to the required shape. And then sort of put in with grout. Now there are sections here where you can see the original colour. So closer to the original colour, and there's a lot of dust on these ones. So that's the border with the floor there. Now there are lots of broken bits and bits where they're not quite laid down correctly. But a lot of this would be that dust has crept underneath these tiles over time, and they just need reseating. But other parts of damage over here, you've got this whole section that sort of moves around, and that would have been damaged when they put in this door. So it's going to take a bit of work to sort out. There are also sections where it's completely missing the edging. So similar to the edging at this threshold here, you've got these red tiles. There should be something here that's actually this width, but there was a bit of wood here which I've taken away so I could see how much of damage there is. These are all sort of coming away, so I'm going to need to buy or find replacements for these. Now, original floors are great, but this one's been under carpet for a really long time, so it does mean that there's probably a lot of moisture in here. So for at least a few weeks, I'm going to leave it not fully uncovered. I'm going to put something over the top, because these can get damaged if you're walking on them when they're not fully seated. And when they move about like this one, it's easy just to break it or to do something bad. But original floors like this, so this one is a pretty late Victorian one, and I know that because the earlier Victorian ones would have been a lot more elaborate, detailed, and this one is starting to become more simple. So this is like bordering with Edwardian, and they became much simpler. So that could have been just like black and white tiles, but this is a little bit more colourful, I guess. So this one's a task for another day. I've still got a lot of painting to do, and I'm not going to bore you with all of that, because once you've seen me paint a wall, you've seen me paint any wall. So I'm going to get back to that, and then I'll just let you have this video and we'll see where we go next. I think I'm ordering a fireplace next to replace this one. I think what I'll do also with this fireplace is I'm going to take these bricks off, or tiles off, where I can chip them off safely, so that I can replace some of the broken sections that are down here, because it's exactly the same tile. So I could just take this one off and pop it down there. I think here's me doing a scientific method. yeah, they look roughly the same to me. So that'll be another job.